Hello, this is Christian Okoye, former Kansas City Chiefs. You are listening to Grilling Truth.
Hi, and welcome to the pilot episode of what we're calling the Grueling Truth Great Football Debate podcast. We're hoping to make this a regular thing, but here is our first show. My name is Oz Davis. I'll be the host of the show, but that's all you need to know about me because the spotlight is on our three panelists. Let's talk to our panelists. First up is Matt Andruscavage, contributing writer for thegruelingtruth.net and co-host of a weekly San Francisco 49ers podcast. I pity you, Matt. I haven't talked to you in a long time. How are things?
Doing well, Az. Hope you're doing well as well.
Well-ish. All right, also joining us tonight is Brian Schmidt, professional football coach. Co-panelist on the weekly CFL Pick'em show, and I assume that you're going to be on our NFL Pick'em show again this year, Schmitty.
If we could agree to terms with him, I mean, he's demanding a lot after last year.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of doing a little bell right now. I'm holding out right now because I don't know, contract negotiations have not been well. I want to be the highest paid panelist and the second highest paid co-host, and problems right now. So
be careful, or we're going to slap the franchise tag on you. We'll trade you to Jacksonville for picks. And finally, we've got the fearless leader of the Grueling Truth, and I don't know, this show might be difficult for him because he's not so forthright with his opinions usually. Mike Goodpaster. Mike, how you doing this evening?
Well, I'm just glad you introduced us from the guy that cheers for the worst team all the way up to the guy that cheers for the best team this year. So
right, because I introduced myself first. Okay, great.
Yeah, then you had the Niners, then you had the lowly Steelers, and then the Bengals.
Well, we'll talk about that a bit later on in the show. What we're hoping to bring you folks out there, the folks that are still listening to this 5 minutes into the inaugural podcast of the Great Debate Podcast, we're going to play this like a game show. We've got our three contestants here. We're going to have 3 long-form questions. We're going to have 5 short-form questions. We'll do this in debate format. Express your opinions clearly, concisely, and quickly, gentlemen. You'll be rewarded thusly. Let's talk about our 3 long-form topics. We're going to start with a really easy one. How about this? We're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore, so your big 4 NFL coaches of all time. Let's go to Mike Goodpaster first because he actually suggested this topic off show, so he's got 4 in mind already. Mike?
So I shouldn't have to go first.
No, go for it, man. You're the boss. Go.
All right.
I'm going to take
my
off
4 coaches. Just because I suggested it didn't mean it was easy because I had a hell of a time with it. But, I mean, my 4 coaches, I think number 1 has to be George Halas, who's basically the father of the NFL. Paul Brown, who invented damn near everything everybody does, from film study to everything else. My number 3 would be Bill Belichick, who I think is the greatest coach of all time. And my number 4 would be Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys.
Landry, okay. Now, actually, technically speaking, we should do that in chronological order, right? So 3 should be Landry and 4 should be Belichick.
I don't care who's what. It's just the 4 of them. And I think Landry's face would look really good on the mountain with his little fedora.
Yeah, he could be the big head. He could be the one sticking out. He'd have the cap on it. Okay, Schmitty, Brian, why don't you get in on this? Who's your Mount Rushmore? That's a pretty solid answer. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little differently on this. In some ways, it'll be the same. In no particular order, because my brain's not going to work well enough tonight to put anything in any order. But Belichick has got to be there. That would be one. One that's a little different than Mike there is I would put Chuck Noll on there.
Because you're a Steelers fan. I was going to put Marvin Lewis in there, but
Noel. Wow.
No, I would put Chuck Noll on there. All the Super Bowls and everything, I would put him there. I would also agree with obviously with Paul Brown. There's so much in football that is because of Paul Brown. And my fourth one, and this is just more on the top of my head and more for debate, I guess. I think I might put Bill Walsh on there.
Wow!
Again, just because
you're kissing Matt Andruscavige's 49er ass
now. Just because of again, what he did with the 49ers and being a Brown disciple, and those would be my four off the top of my head, just to create a little controversy.
Okay, Brian, you're losing points for the homerism, and you're going to lose points for sucking up to Matt Andruscavage. Now, Matt.
Yeah, but Chuck Noll would have been in my top 6. Chuck Noll is one of the most underrated coaches that ever lived.
Yeah, well, the only problem with that is Mount Rushmore only has 4 heads, Mike. Right. Let's go to Matt. Matt, keep in mind you will get minus points for homerism. Who's your Mount?
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. Does Mike also lose points for Paul Brown?
Why would Mike lose points for Paul Brown? Because Paul Brown's on there because of the Cleveland Browns, and Mike's no Browns fan.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Nobody's a Brown fan, but go ahead.
Yeah, I too had a difficult time because I came up with 8 guys, and like you said, there's only room for 4. So I'm going to kind of go at it like this. I'm going to go Paul Brown, Vince Lombardi, Bill Walsh, and Bill Belichick. I'm going to do 3 modern guys, or 2 old school, and then 3 from the Super Bowl era.
Okay, I have a question.
Wait. 2 old school and 3 from the Super Bowl era? That's 5.
Yeah, I meant 2 old school and then 3 from the post, or 2 from the post.
He submitted his answer wrong. I suggest he be kicked off the show.
Okay. Okay. I'm about ready.
It'd be better if I could count, right?
I'm about ready.
You're in Wisconsin. I forgive you.
I'm about ready to kick off 2 of you from the show because you're missing the point of the Mount Rushmore. Okay, think of the Mount Rushmore. You got to have 2 of your founding father types, right? You got to have 2 from history. What are you guys, millennials here? Come on, think about your history. All right, you got to have.
I don't
1.
have 2 millennials. I got 3 that I think are. I mean, if you look at it, how can you leave Tom Landry off? I mean, Tom Landry is called the great innovator. I mean, he basically designed the 4-3 defense. He designed the flex defense. I mean, he had the shotgun offense, which he's not the first guy to use it, but he was the first guy to use it the way he did. I mean, the dude was in the playoffs every year. He was at 10 of 13 championship games from 70 to 82. He led them to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and I think he is maybe the greatest defensive coach of all time.
Okay, Brian, tell him why he's not on the list, and tell him why your guy who won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years is.
Well, my guy's on the list for 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. Also, beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Took a
Tom Landry's
very
Cowboys,
bad. Took a very bad Steelers team, built it through the draft, and
so did Landry.
Went on that run. Yeah, but
Tom Landry did the same thing. He took basically an expansion team that hadn't won a game in 2 years and built it.
But where are his Super Bowls compared to Noel?
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the thing. No, hold on a second. I think if you have a Mount Rushmore, it's for the guys that brought the most to the game while winning. I also think a comparison could be made that the NFC was a lot tougher than the AFC. Maybe not but late 70s, from about 78 to 1990, the NFC, or really probably 1994, 95, the NFC was a dominant conference. He was in the playoffs more. And, Noel, if you look at him past 1980, there's not a whole hell of a lot there these last 10 years. Where Landry, you had 86, 87 before they got him out of there, but he didn't have a run like that. Plus, what did Chuck Noll invent? What did Chuck Noll bring to the game that was more than just about wins and losses?
I thought that's what football was about, wins and losses.
Well, you know what? Without the 4-3 defense, I mean, who invents that? The flex defense, You know, the shotgun offense.
I'm going to take Super Bowls over any of that.
Okay, I'm getting ready to move on topics. I think in the first official episode of this show, I am going to have control of the mute button because some people have forgotten.
Because I've got it right here. I'm about to mute your ass right now because you never even let Matt respond. You just act like Matt's not even there.
Some people forget who the host of this show actually is. Matt, would you like to get any last words in on this subject? And I think you're winning this round already, so be careful.
How can he be winning this round?
Yeah, he hasn't said anything. He's the one that picked all the new guys.
That's right. That's how he's not getting in trouble. So that's how he's not getting
I would love Landry is definitely in my 8, but the reason why I put Lombardi and Walsh above him is because Lombardi beat him in the 2 big years in the 60s, and then Walsh also defeated him in a very key game in 81, where the upstart Niners were not expected to beat him.
Those happened almost 20 years apart. The two guys that were in there only coached for a decade.
I'm aware of that, but, Walsh brought an awful lot to the game as well, and it's really hard for me to take a guy like Vince Lombardi off, who had possibly the most dominant 7 years of winning of any coach. So that's kind of why I got those guys out there.
In a league with 12 teams where you didn't have to lose players. Now, Tom Landry won when it was the 60s like that, but he also won in the 80s, especially the first 5 years of the 80s, when you had to switch your players a little bit more.
I just don't think Tom Landry was able to defeat guys like Chuck Noll, Bill Walsh, and Vince Lombardi on a regular basis. Even though he was consistently the winner, I mean, you look at there was a long run of greatness, but most of those times he kind of fell short at the end to these other coaches.
Yeah, but if Chuck Noll would have been good enough to get the 71 Steelers to the Super Bowl, the Cowboys would have kicked their ass.
Okay, well,
when he did face them, he beat them twice.
Yeah. What's your point?
Well, that's
the New York Jets and Buddy Ryan. Buddy Ryan used to beat the Patriots every once in a while. It's a one-game situation. I'm saying this. You've got a guy who invented half the crap that's done today. Paul Brown invented the other half of the crap, and George Halas made it possible for them to invent it. To me, that's the 3. And then you got Belichick, who's the greatest winner of all of them, and he did it for a 20-year period. I don't see how you can put somebody in the Mount Rushmore. They're there for a decade. I mean, Bill Walsh was innovative with the West Coast offense, but that came from Sid Gilman. He's on Sid Gilman's coaching tree. But I still give him credit because it was a lot different than Sid Gilman's. But the basis, the foundation was from Sid Gilman.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The foundation was, but he was far different from Sid Gilman. Sid Gilman was not running the West Coast offense.
And I also
Sid Gilman was just an innovator of the passing offense. But I agree with you.
Okay. Okay. So in any case, we have to move on, guys. We have to move on. We can't make this whole podcast about this. Okay, Brian, I'm gonna give you more points than I thought. I'm gonna give you 7 for that, but I'm still taking off points for the homerism.
I cannot believe I'm getting points taken off for the homerism when, in fact, it has been agreed upon that I was right. I tell you what, I need to put.
I agree that you're wrong, and I think Matt agrees that you're wrong too because he didn't have Chuck Noll on. So that's 2 of us that think you're wrong.
Matt gets 6 points, but since we're using his counting system, it's actually only worth 5.
But this is fixed anyways. It's whoever gave you the most money before the game anyways. It's just like Super Bowl 40 when the Steelers
Mike,
cheated.
I'm going to give you...
Yeah, I forgot to wire him some money.
I think Mike is going to give out 1.5 because he hasn't learned how to take his turn yet. Let's see. All right, let's move on to question number 2.
Go ahead.
Mike may never win.
Oh, that's going to get you minus points, Mike.
I was hoping because low score wins. It's like golf, so I did like a I was like a birdie there, a double birdie. Go ahead.
Low score wins. Is that what you have to say at the IQ test, Mike? In any case, let's go on to question 2. One team. Tell me why. Who wins the NFC this year? Who wins the NFC? Let's go to Brian, winner of the last round. Brian.
Well, let's see. I haven't really thought much about the NFC, but
remember, I was a Rams fan, so if you pick the Rams, they'll give you like 27 points, whatever the hell that means.
Oh, minimum.
yeah, with what I'm going with in my head right now, I would probably you got to go with the safe bet, and I'm going to go with Atlanta, just because I think Atlanta showed last year they're a real good team. I think they'll be better. I like Atlanta. So, kind of a little bit of a until I look at it more, I think everything goes through Atlanta at this point.
Wow, Atlanta is the safe bet, Matt. Do you think so with Seattle? Dallas?
Oh, yeah. Atlanta is by far and away the better team of all these guys. Atlanta didn't just stand pat. They got better, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're getting Trufant back. They got Poe on the defensive line. Their defense is going to be much better than last year. And the offense is still going to be very good. Green Bay's defense got worse. Dallas's defense got worse. Seattle's got major offensive line problems, especially losing their left tackle for the year. I think the road goes to Atlanta, and they're going to go back to the Super Bowl.
Wow, what a great, concise, quick answer. I love it. Mike, why are they wrong?
Because I really like the Los Angeles Rams. But I'm not going to pick them, but I do like them. I just wanted to bring that up, okay? Especially where they wear the old uniforms. All right, I think this. I think that the Super Bowl hangover thing is real. I think they're in a really tough division. You're in a division where New Orleans can score a lot of points. They may not be able to stop anybody, but they might be able to beat you in a shootout. You get the Panthers, who I think will be closer to what they were 2 years ago than what they were this year or last year. I like the New York Giants. I think they have offensive line problems.
The Giants?
If they can get any blocking, their defense is as good as anybody, especially the secondary. And you've got Eli Manning, who, if he makes it to the playoffs, we know he can get on a run. So instead of being a little girl and just picking the Falcons, I'm going with the New York Football Giants.
Wow, that is quite a pick, Matt. Giants?
I don't have a problem with that. If you were going to pick another team, I would say the Giants this year are not a bad pick. The easy picks that people want to say Green Bay, Seattle, or Dallas, but I think those three teams have more problems. The Giants don't have as many problems as they did. I think they could be a problem if they make the playoffs.
Brian, the Giants, are they serious?
I every time over the last 10 years that everybody just kind of forgets about the Giants, they end up there, and I certainly can't disagree with that. And I don't know why I feel this way, but I felt this way since through the summer. But that one team that just always kind of sticks in my head is, man, they're a team that could really create some problems is Tampa Bay. Not so much as I don't know that, they're better than Atlanta right now, but that's just a team that seems to have that upside, and we saw that last year as they played, and I think that's one of those sneaky teams that could kind of surprise everybody.
Okay, that's an interesting answer. I like that. Brian, you get 10 points for that. Matt, you get 0 because you gave me a boring answer, and
boring answer.
Mike, you got 0 because you told me to blow you. So
you know what, asshole? I told you to blow me on the last question. You took points away. Number 2, Schmidt just sit there and picked Atlanta. You asked him who the other team he would pick is, so you're giving him points for a team he didn't even pick to win the NFC.
No, he talked about Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay. I don't like the Giants.
Dumbass.
Thank you.
Well, I got to say, Blake Bortles and the Rams to get points.
This is a joke. I'll tell you what. He picks Atlanta. You give Matt, no points because he picked Atlanta, but you give Schmidt 10.
Okay, all of you guys
You and Schmidt dating now or what?
All of you guys are taking this way too seriously, way too quickly.
You're the one who put points to it.
This is the great debate. Why would we not take this seriously?
I know. You're being an ass.
Okay. All right. I give myself minus 37 for that. All right.
It doesn't matter because you already gave Schmidt 10.
He wins around. Okay.
Schmidt don't deserve 10 points.
For picking Tampa Bay, they're not going to win anything.
He picked Atlanta.
Right?
Picking Atlanta is even worse.
Atlanta is easily the best team in the conference.
It doesn't matter. It's a stupid pick because whoever is ever supposed to win, unless it's New England, never does.
Nobody can.
That was just a stupid pick because he got 10 points for it, and you got nothing for it, Matt, and I was defending you.
I know. Okay. You should get 3 points for defending me because that never happens.
I should get 27 for defending you. All right, so right now that means I got 42 points. Schmidt's got 12. Matt's got 9. Go ahead.
Minus 1 for every interruption, so that means you're at about -9. Right.
See, so now you're just being a jerk again. Come on now. You don't have to try to act like Stephen A. Smith just because we're on a debate show.
Question 3. So, I know the answer to this one.
Is the reason we only got 3 questions because that's how higher you can count?
No, it's because I knew that this would take us an hour to answer each question, even though I'm
I knew you wanted to get out of here quick, so I'm going to drag it as long as I can. Since you give me negative points for great answers.
Okay. Here's question number 3. Should division-winning teams with a losing record be allowed to make the playoffs? And if so, should there be any special asterisk applied to them? What do you think, Matt?
I don't have a problem with them making the playoffs, but I don't believe they should get a home game. I think any team, once you're in the wild card round, should go by record.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Mike, where are you on this?
I disagree. I think they should make the playoffs. I think it should be the home team because that's the way it's always been. You win your division, it's a bigger deal than being a wild card. I don't care what your record is.
Yes, I'm more in line with
Seattle how it is to go play a 7-9 team. They won their division. I mean, to me, a division winner is a lot bigger deal than a wild card. I don't care how you get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Brian, where are you on this one? What do you think?
I don't care. Again, it's as Mike
you
said.
You have to care, Brian. Just act like you do.
I don't care. I just don't care. Bottom line is it's the way it's set up. You make the playoffs, no matter what your record is. You got into the playoffs. Congratulations, and don't be in the AFC when you got to go play New England. So.
Okay, Matt. I
should get points for that answer.
Your question. Schmidt has a little experience with because he got screwed over with one of them. But go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
But it wasn't the NFL, so it was a different situation.
I got a question here from Matt, since Matt is the only one so far that's paid proper homage to the Great Debate Show. Do you think that anybody who says, I don't care in the Great Debate Show should get points?
Well, you'll probably get 12 since you love him.
I'll just say this. It can't help him.
You never know what Bob's doing the counting.
All right. Matt nailed that one. 20 points for Matt. 20 points for Matt. 10 for Mike. None for Brian. Sorry.
Now you're just doing it to Brian because you're trying to make up for, playing favorites.
There you go. See?
Yeah, I feel like that was Deflategate to make up for Spygate.
Yeah. So are you calling me Goodell? My God, that's going to get you some minus points. Right, let's go on to the speed round.
It's not like you're keeping track of the points anyways.
Not really. It's not. I already know who's going to win.
I think in the end it's all going to even out to 0.
Yeah, he's going to give it to Brian.
You know who's going to win? I'm going to win. That's who wins. All right, let's do the speed round. Some easier questions, some questions that demand briefer answers. Tell me what you think as quickly as possible. Question number 1. I was hoping we would have our Miami Dolphins fan on this show, but I'm keeping this question in here anyway. Is Jay Cutler the solution for Miami, and how far can the Dolphins get, Mike?
No, they can win maybe 5 or 6 games. Their schedule is very tough, and I think even with Ryan Tannehill, they weren't winning more than 6 or 7 games, so I think they're done either way.
Okay, what do you think, Mike? How many games for the Dolphins?
I just said I think they win 5 or 6 games.
No, I'm sorry, Brian. Going too fast.
No,
-3.
I agree. 4 to 5 games they're going to win, and by midseason there will be an implosion in the locker room.
Wow! All right, that's a bold prediction. I like that, Matt. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think Jay Cutler was going to help them. I think Mike pretty much said my thoughts on it. They were in trouble anyways with Tannehill. I thought they took a little bit of a step backwards. They got a hard schedule. They're playing with the Patriots. They're going to have a hard time winning even 7 games this year.
Okay, not so controversial question there. All right, let's go on to question 2. Houston Texans win this season. Over under 8.5. Brian.
Under.
Okay. Under. What are you thinking? A lot under 8, 7? What do you think?
I'm thinking they'll be in that 7-8 range.
Okay. All right. Matt, what do you think? Over under 8.5 wins.
I'm going over. I think their draft pick. Now, forgive me, I can't remember the running back's last name. I know it's like Dante, the guy they drafted. I don't know.
Dante Foreman from Texas.
Yeah, Foreman, and then Watson at quarterback. I think both those guys are going to be good. That defense is stellar. Hopkins is going to rebound. I'm not sure if they'll win the division because it's going to be between them and Tennessee, but I do think they win at least 9 games this year.
At least 9 games. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Mike, where are you on this?
Well, my question is, do I get extra points for filling in the name for Matt?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. As long as I get extra points for that. I think they go, I'll say over, but I'll say like 9 wins.
Okay.
I think it's possible with Deshaun Watson. If they start Deshaun Watson, they may have a more successful season, but they still have quarterback problems because you either got Tom Savage, which is a badass last name, but not a very good quarterback, or you've got a rookie starting. And starting a rookie, he does have the players around him to get it done, but I don't think he's like a Ben Roethlisberger and is going to come in and win 13 games in a row as a rookie.
Well, Dak Prescott was a rookie, and he had the whole team around him when he came in. So
he had
could be possible.
Offense. Yeah, I know. Could be possible. So, but he's not Dak Prescott either. He's nowhere near Dak Prescott.
Okay, fair enough. I like these answers, Mike. That was your best round so far, I think. Right. Let's go question 3. How good are the Seattle Seahawks? I didn't hear much mention of them so far. Mike, how good are the Seattle Seahawks this year?
To win their division because their division's terrible. They've got a big-time franchise quarterback. I think he's an elite quarterback in Russell Wilson. Their problem is he still doesn't have a ton of weapons. The running game's still kind of a question, but the biggest problem is with Fant going down, the offensive line was already questionable. So if they're in a different division, but I think this may just be a 9 or 10 win team.
Really? Wow. Okay, Brian. Are you going to surprise me? How good are the Seattle Seahawks?
It's kind of the same answer. Good, but not a great team. They'll win their division. Bad division. They'll make the playoffs. Potentially, they could make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, but they're just when compared to the other elite teams, they're not there.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, and Matt, what do you say? Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, pretty much same thing. I think they've got a real problem on the offensive line. They don't really have a lot of weapons in the air. You got Lockett and Baldwin, and that's about it. Maybe Jimmy Graham is different this year. The running game, it seems to be deep on paper, but we don't really know how good they are. And the defense, I mean, they still got a great defense, but I think they've got some problems this year. I think they squeak into the playoffs just by default because of the division they're in, and they'll probably win their home playoff game, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I like this answer. Okay, on a related subject, I'm going to give this one to Matt first, and Matt, there is a correct answer, so I'm warning you to be careful. The question is, which team finishes last in the NFC West? Matt?
The Rams.
Wow, that's not the correct answer. Okay, Mike?
We swept you in a 2-win season. I think we'll be better than you guys again.
Mike, which team finishes last in the NFC West?
The 49ers.
That's the right answer, right, Oz?
No, that's not the right answer. That's not the right answer.
I believe that's what will happen. I also believe this, though. I believe between those two teams, one of them's going to win 6 or 7 games and surprise people. But I think that...
But you don't know which one?
I think the Rams are really good up front, defensive line-wise. Jared Goff, I have more hope for than Brian Hoying, whatever the hell the quarterback is in San Francisco's name. I just don't see how San Francisco is going to score points. I think they overpaid for good wide receivers that are 2 and 3 guys, but they still don't have a number 1 guy. Carlos Hyde has injury problems. I think they drafted well. I think Reuben Foster makes their defense a lot better immediately. So to me, the teams are kind of the same. I think they both could be really good on defense. But I think offensively they both got problems, but you do have Todd Gurley, and at least there's some hope with Jared Goff. Not much, but that's why I would say that. It's also possible that one of them will win 3 games and the other one will win 2.
Yeah, not much. Okay, Brian, I know you haven't paid much attention to the NFC, which means you've paid about 1% of your attention to the NFC West. You care to hedge a bet? Worst team in the NFC West?
Yeah, I've got a real simple answer and a real easy answer. The team that's going to finish last is going to be any team but the Rams. So I should win the debate. Game over. Let's go home.
I already said it would be the 49ers. I was specific, and Matt was fair, and, Oz was trying to get at Matt when he asked that question. That's why he asked him first.
No,
absolutely. But
the correct,
I didn't blink.
My answer was better. So.
No, the correct answer in order to make everybody happy was the Arizona Cardinals. I can't believe everybody missed it. Right.
So therefore, my answer was a lot closer to that. So
Not really.
Justifications are worth the price of admission. I love the justifications. Those are worth the answer. All right, here we go. Answer number 5, last one. Okay, and I'll let you two guys go first. Matt, you can take a nap or make yourself a sandwich or something. Let me ask you first, Brian. What is your most hated NFL team and why?
Oh, dear Lord.
Should be easy.
Most hated would probably be the Cleveland Browns.
Why?
Because
really?
Haven't beat anybody in forever.
Yeah,
really?
Because that. That's always a big rivalry in Pittsburgh, and B, the couple times I've gone to a Cleveland Browns game, the fans are idiots, and C, that's why they never win. So.
Well, so are Buffalo Bills fans, so nobody hates the Bills. Okay, Mike, what's your most hated team? Don't let me know.
Indianapolis Colts.
Really?
I hate to screw it up for you because I know you thought me and Schmidt were going to get into it, but I hate the Indianapolis Colts. I hate the Colts because their fans are stupid. I hate the Colts because they're just the Colts, and the Colts belong in Baltimore. It's the reason I don't hate the Cleveland Browns anymore, because the Cleveland Browns stopped existing in 1995 to me. It's a totally different team. But the Indianapolis Colts, put it like this. I live right on the Indiana-Ohio border, and until about 1999, when Peyton Manning got there, nobody gave a damn about the Indianapolis Colts. And you know what? They're getting to the point now where nobody's going to give a damn again. And if Peyton Manning would have not come to the Colts in 1998, the Colts would have been in somewhere other than where they are now, probably in L.A. as the Los Angeles Colts or something, because there are no real Colts fans, at least not under the age of 40 or 35. The other people have just been, it's true. I went to a Bengals-Colts game in 1987 in Indianapolis, and there was maybe 10,000 Colts fans there and about 30,000 Bengals fans. Nice. Because nobody cares about the Colts. They just don't.
Okay,
it's a bunch of people. If you go to a Colts game, that's why they always had they had the rumor that they piped in the noise. That's because people in Indianapolis didn't really care. Then they just showed up because it was the place to go because Peyton Manning was there with his big-ass HGH forehead. And he's rubbing his junk in the little girl's face at Tennessee, which nobody cares about. And now the cheating thing that came out a couple months ago that nobody cares about because Peyton Manning's the darling of the NFL. But that darling never would have won a Super Bowl if it wasn't for the fact that his defense in Denver was outstanding and the fact that he got to play Rex Grossman in Chicago in a Super Bowl.
But, Mike, the Pacers fans are real, right?
Yeah, because it's a basketball state. Nobody cares about the Colts.
Okay, just checking. See, now that's not the answer I was expecting, but that was an interesting answer. I like that.
I hate the Steelers, too, just like Schmidt hates the Bengals, too. But this is the thing, and I think this has something to do with it. I think, actually, there's no respect for Steeler fans for the Browns. The Browns haven't been a threat to the Steelers since, Bernie Kosar.
Paul Brown.
Since Bernie Kosar. Well, everybody was a threat to the Steelers when Paul Brown was in Cleveland because the Steelers were god-awful for 40 years until they got Chuck Noll, which is one of the reasons Chuck Noll would have been my first guy off that Mount Rushmore list.
Okay.
But other than that, I also hate the San Francisco 49ers because their fans are stupid. So go ahead and go to Matt.
Are their fans stupid, Matt? Wait a minute.
Oh, boy.
Wait a minute. Let me help you out here, Matt. San Francisco, isn't that right near Berkeley? Isn't that right near all those, intellectual places that the
Intellectual is a way to
flyover
say a
states
bunch
are
of
scared of?
liberal idiots that think everybody should get a trophy, and Matt supports them.
Okay, fair enough, Matt.
No,
You
Matt
have
thinks
to
all,
be there,
Matt
just
thinks
like you
all
have to
fan
support it
bases.
because you live out there, Oz.
Matt thinks all
San
fan bases are
Francisco
stupid.
And LA.
I think the whole problem with this country is the San Francisco 49ers. Everything went well until Bill Walsh got there and they started winning.
Okay,
Downhill
so
the economies went to hell. Ain't nobody got jobs, of course. If you listen to Donald Trump, the immigrants are just flowing in, taking all the jobs at Candlestick Park or whatever they called their new place.
I don't know. The economy really took off in the 80s when Bill Walsh got there, so.
No, it crashed. That was the deregulating everything is what ended up killing it in the future, which is all Bill Walsh's fault, which is why he didn't belong on the Mount Rushmore.
Except now the 49ers are in Santa
Bill
Clara
Walsh's
anyway.
fault.
Well, the 49ers suck ass now, so it doesn't even matter. That's why I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you guys are only a couple of games above us, so that's good for you.
Couple games above us. But the thing is this, for the last 4 years, we've always been a couple games above you.
4 years, really? I believe we were in the NFC Championship game 4 years ago.
You were?
What
with
that
non-flag saluting guy.
Yeah,
see, that proves it too. Your quarterback doesn't even love his country.
Yeah, he's a communist.
That's why he's gone.
And you were fine with going to the Super Bowl with a God-hating quarterback.
With a communist.
Yeah. That was before anybody knew anything about that.
Fidel Castro was a quarterback for you, really, and you didn't even realize it. And you supported it. You support Fidel Castro.
I don't know if that's really where we're going here, but that's just how your mind works.
It doesn't.
Yeah, give him 10 points. You got to give him 10 points for linking Fidel Castro to all this.
To Bill Walsh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Really, I don't know. Brian, what do you think? The fact that Bill Walsh supports Fidel Castro should probably knock him off the list.
I thought he was more of a Paul Pot guy.
Put up by Matt.
I thought he was more of a Paul Pot guy because it was kind of like Paul Brown.
We need a big fat woman to get a ladder and tear that statue down of Bill Walsh.
Right now, I can honestly say Oz has lost complete control of this show.
We knew he would.
Looks like it.
So it's completely
gone. Mount Rushmore.
So, Matt, tell me, what's your most hated NFL team and why?
It's probably a tie between the Packers and the Seahawks. Every time I try to like the hometown team living in Wisconsin, every time I try to just, appreciate the Packers, the fans are just too much for me. It's too difficult. It's kind of like what Mike was talking about with the Colts. It's just annoying. So, and I don't really like Seahawks because it's a division rival. Don't really care much for Richard Sherman. Though I agree more with Richard Sherman every time he opens his mouth. I just don't really like him dragging receivers all over the field and not getting called for it. But the more he talks, the more I actually like him. And I never thought I'd think that. But so it's probably a tie between those two teams.
Yeah, I hate the Packers too. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I really hate everybody, but that's all.
Yeah, you got a whole hate list in the NFL.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I just hate on every team. Hell, half the time I hate my own team, but that's understandable.
Including the Bengals. Yeah, exactly.
Mike, you really ought to be in charge of that series, Why Your Team Sucks, and just do it for every team.
Yes. The Deadspin. The Deadspin.
Why would we bring up other websites?
Well, I wasn't naming the website.
In any case, okay, so I'm tallying up the scores, and I have decided that that Mike Goodpaster is the winner. Mike, you're the winner.
It's obvious I was going to be the winner, and Brian was going to be second, because Matt's a 49er fan.
Of course. Now
it was between me and Schmidt, and then you had the 49er fan.
I came in second. I only lost because I called Brian Mike once.
You didn't come in second. You're not even involved in this. So we give the points to Brian, so me and Brian
I'm not even involved. Here I am, the host.
So you're both losers, and me and Brian are winners.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Let's take a vote. Brian, you good with that?
I'm good.
There you go.
This is not a democracy. This is not a democracy. Okay, so, Mike, your prize for winning the show is you get to sign off the show.
Okay. That's just because you didn't have anything prepared, but all right, now I know what I won. Right. I do want to bring this up. The NFL Pick'em Show, make sure you check that out every week this season with us, Mark Cooper from the Denver Broncos. We'll have some special guests. But on September the 3rd, so you know, Brian and Matt, it's a Sunday night, we are going to do our preseason NFL show, and our special guest will be former San Francisco 49er Randy Cross, who will be on the show with us to pick the season and listen to all the stupid predictions like Blake Bortles is going to be the guy to pick in fantasy football this year.
I'm not going to make that prediction again.
Huh?
I'm not going to make that prediction again.
Oh, man, that means he's going to get 30 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, that means Blake Bortles is the guy to get. But go ahead, Oz. Sign the show off. You should let Brian have a final word, and maybe Matt.
You won the prize. You're supposed to sign the show off. But okay, all right, let's do that. Brian.
Well, you're the host. Quit shirking your responsibilities.
I can't. I'm delegating authority. Brian, tell us. Give us your final words of wisdom for this week, and we hope to see you next week.
This show is a complete waste of my time because I really want it. The fact that me and Mike ended up first and second, I can be okay with that. I'm still unhappy with the contract negotiations that I'm dealing with. I may just sit out.
I gave you a first place tie with me just to make you happier.
And I said I appreciated that. However, the fact that the host lost control of this show early on, I'm very disappointed. I'm going to ask for 15 more. I'm going to ask for 15 more cents on my contract.
I'm not giving you more than 7. We can't discuss this in public either. It's just not professional.
Oh, well, all right. Well, then I have nothing else to say at this point.
Okay.
All right, Matt's up for the next 3 years, so you can talk to Matt.
Thanks, Brian. That's great. Okay, so Matt, final words of wisdom from yourself. You did a great job, Matt. I got to help Goodpaster.
Good God, he's
kissing Matt. I can tell I did a great job finishing last. But,
anybody can tell you. I have. Hey, you can ask anybody, Oz. I don't need help with my ego.
Yeah, see, it's just, Mike has these terrible self-esteem issues, Matt, and so I was just trying to help him out. So Matt,
well, as we always care about on all of our shows, I'm sure this show will be no different. We want to make sure we're careful to help everybody's feelings out. So
right, exactly.
That's
especially
how Mike always put it.
Especially Mike, because he's our benefactor. Anyway, what
don't you call me bad names?
What can you tell us in parting, Matt? What are your final words of wisdom?
Well, I might not have any words of wisdom other than just make sure to tune into all of our shows, especially the NFL Pick'em Show. We're probably going to have another great time this year.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, Mike, you haven't said enough this podcast. Please tell us some final words of wisdom.
Also, check out the CFL Pick'em Show with myself, Oz, Brian. Brian, were you undefeated this week?
I think I was. I've got to look, but I know at one point I was undefeated, so I still got to look. But I think I was.
All right, and also we got 4-time Grey Cup champion Robert Drummond does the show with us also. Check out our new MMA show this week. We'll actually have 3 shows previewing Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Check out our newest sponsor, mybookie.ag. Am I missing anything else?
Oh, I don't believe so. I could also recommend Seat Giant. They're also a sponsor of us. That's a seat aggregator. You can check them out for all your sports and entertainment tickets. They're much better than the big 2. I can tell you that. Customer service is much more highly rated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's seatgiant.com or for Canadian, seatgiant.ca. Does that wrap it up, Mike? Should I quit the show?
I think it does. Just tell everybody to check out our website, thegruelingtruth.net.
There you go. That's it for this pilot episode, which I'm not sure will get renewed, of the great football debate here presented by
I had fun. I think we'll renew it. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think we can renew this.
Yeah, I'll give you your extra 15 cents then.
Oh, that's good. I might actually sign my contract now. That's good.
Okay. Well, there's breaking news on the show tonight at the end if you listened all the way through.
They don't care about us, Matt.
I'm pretty sure by this point everybody has tuned out, and drinking is way more fun.
Yeah, but if you drink while listening to the show, it'll be even funner.
Hey,
That's true.
I'm drinking while hosting. For Matt Andruscavage, Brian Schmidt, and Mike Goodpaster, I'm Oz Davis, and this has been the Grueling Truth Great Debate Football Show. Talk